Let us look at today's topic: how to be an entrepreneur from a civil engineer. Now, the question comes, can an engineer become an entrepreneur? The answer is yes. Anybody can become an entrepreneur who wants to start a new business of his own, provided it could be challenging. In the same way, a civil engineer definitely can be an entrepreneur if he wants to run his own business by implementing the latest civil engineering ideas, which also coincides with the ideas trending in the market. Entrepreneur. So, how can we define who an entrepreneur is? Well, an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. So, an entrepreneur needs to use his capitals for his business in a proper manner with lots of risk factors. So, how can we say that entrepreneur, along with his capital that he invests, will give products to the customers and his business will grow? What is actually civil engineering? It is the oldest engineering discipline which deals with the environment, dated to the first time someone placed a roof over his head or laid a tree trunk across a river to make it easier to get across. So, civil actually means work or study related to construction. For example, a high-rise building, a bridge, or a dam. Ideas for civil entrepreneur. So, what are the ways a civil engineer could be an entrepreneur to himself? Civil contractor. So, the person himself could undertake any work as a contractor. Consultant. The person could act as a business consultant, hereby referring his works to the other areas through marketing. Project management consultant. The person could act as a project manager working as a unit with some known consultants. Quantity surveyor. Here, the person should have a deep knowledge on construction, costs and contracts. Billing consultant. The person should have a deep knowledge while billing the materials, keeping in mind the latest value in the market. Material supplier. The person could be supplier of construction materials, for example, bricks, stones, cement and sand. Construction material manufacturer. The person needs to produce the construction materials needed for construction. Model maker. The person could sell models of buildings or prototypes of some good construction with a reasonable justification. Real estate marketing. The person could try to visit the empty lands which could be fit for construction and try to sell them to the customers. Providing pre-stressed concrete and scaffolding. He could provide the best possible ways to make a construction live longer. Material testing labs. The person could start a lab to test all the construction materials before sending them to the customers and clients. Equipment supplier on the rent. The person could supply the best equipments available for construction on rent basis. Labor contractor. The person could supply best and skilled laborers to the construction site. At last we see private surveyor. The person could start his own survey equipments for big construction. Entrepreneur leadership qualities. seeking self-improvement. So here, an entrepreneur needs to learn from his mistakes, needs to evaluate his works and try to improve in those areas. Next, possessing technical skills. Here, the entrepreneur needs to have a strong knowledge of technicals associated in civil engineering. For example, design software's knowledge, building knowledge. Accepting responsibility for actions. The entrepreneur needs to accept and perform the responsibilities on him in a positive manner and also needs to react positively to the actions. Making decision. An entrepreneur needs to make proper decisions in the proper time. Time is very precious for an entrepreneur. Being a role model. If an entrepreneur is himself perfect, many can learn from him and trace his path for success. Principles of entrepreneurial leadership. An entrepreneur should not blame anyone. He should be responsible for his actions. He should not create an adversarial situation which could provide a big damage to his business. He should learn the work and then work. He should be a learner. An entrepreneur should be able to understand the strategy of business very quickly. The entrepreneur should be a leader and work from front. He would be leader to the others. An entrepreneur should be very sharp enough to catch the latest trends of civil and impose them on the business. An entrepreneur should keep the record of all the business ideas to make himself demanding in the market. An entrepreneur should be asking his demerits and shortcomings rather than losing his knowledge and ideas. An entrepreneur should be decisive and desire enough to know his defects and try to overcome them. An entrepreneur should share his profits with the ones of whom he took help during his business success. An entrepreneur should be having sympathy for others of whom he took help. An entrepreneur should be strong mentally to handle all the outcomes in his business. Sources of funds, that is, from where an entrepreneur could use money to start up his business. Bootstrapping, that is, using his own personal savings to start up the business by investing them in the personal savings. Taking financial help from family and friends. Investing money from small business startups. Taking loans from banks of certain amount and refund them along with the specified interest. Taking financial help from incubators, that is, from companies which provide financial help. He could take financial help from some particular person. The entrepreneur could implement money in business, keeping any portion of venture or land in rent. The entrepreneur could take financial help through bartering, that is, exchange of materials. The entrepreneur could take the help from his business partner financially. At last, the entrepreneur could even take help from a particular customer he resembles. Government schemes for rural entrepreneurship in India. Entrepreneurship Development Institution Scheme. Then comes Rajiv Gandhi Udyami Mitra Yojana. Performance and Credit Rating Scheme. which is implemented through National Small Industries Corporation. Next comes product development in design intervention and packaging. Next comes Khadi Karigar, Janashree Bima Yojana for Khadi Artisans. Next comes marketing assistance scheme. At last, provision of urban amenities to rural areas. Let us look now at one of the most successful entrepreneur in India, BSPCL Infrastructure Limited. So here the entrepreneur is Shri Bolineni Krishnanariya. He is one of the most successful entrepreneur in India. He has his own company whose name is BSPCL Infrastructure Limited. Another most successful entrepreneur of the Nagarjuna Constructions is Dr. AVS Raju. He is also the founder chairman